Mapalo Makhu. I'm a personal finance columnist and author, and I have a business called Woman and Finance, where I educate women and help them become confident about their personal finances. I think reading is very important for entrepreneurs, not only entrepreneurs, but everyone. I will give you a story. When I finished matric, I thought I was going to study a BA, right? And because I couldn't go to varsity in that year, the following year, because money was stretched thin. Two of my siblings were already in varsity. So I took an involuntary gap year. And in that year, I started reading books that I had never read before, right? Remember, I was going to study copyright at Rhodes University. And because of books, I completely changed. So I started reading personal finance books. I started reading about investing. I was like, what world is this, right? So for me, it is significant to read and even read outside of the normal genre that you do read. Because of that, I completely changed from studying copywriting to saying, you know what, I want to do a BCom finance. And that's exactly what I did. But even through your life as an entrepreneur or just as an individual, knowledge is important. How do you grow if you do not know? How do you grow if you are not consuming things that will make you grow? And for me, books are so critical. But what I've realized also is that books are not just there to inform you and that you agree with everything they say. I think books also help you form your own opinion as an individual. I've seen way too many times where people say, oh no, I don't read that book. That book is trash. And I'm like, that is not the point of books. Books are not there to confirm everything you believe. They are there to even challenge you. I grow through reading books. Let me share with you some of my favorite books. So this book is called The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. And my sister introduced me to him, right? And I've been reading this book for the past 5 years. Every single year, I have to read this book. For me, it is a book about life because it talks about this boy who goes on a journey to find treasure. And all of us, aren't we all trying to find treasure? We certainly are. What I absolutely loved about this book is that through challenges, they will come, but you have to be fearless. You have to continue seeking that which is inside of you, right? Regardless of the challenges. My husband and I, a couple of years ago, when we decided to move back home, this book was a catalyst for that because I knew that, you know what, for us to get to the next step of what we want to achieve, if you are saying you're an entrepreneur, there are going to have to be sacrifices, right? So for me, this book really helped me and encouraged me to say, you know what, I can do hard things. And even today, because of experiencing that and because of reading this book, I'm not afraid of challenges. So this is definitely a must. This book I absolutely loved. I absolutely loved. I picked up this book last year, November. We all know Nike, right? We know the brand, we love the brand. But for me, I wanted to see, how did you build this brand, this global brand? And he had so many challenges. When he started out. But I think the most significant thing for me as someone who talks about personal finance was the depth in which he went when he spoke about his financial challenges. I think as entrepreneurs, we are ashamed to say, hey, I am struggling right now. When you're building, you don't have anything to your name. But there's this misconception now, especially with social media, to look like you've made it already. And he did not try to do any of those things. And of course, yes, they didn't have social media, but there were other pressures that I'm sure he was facing. A very significant thing I learned from this book is the people you surround yourself with are very important, very important. And the same people he surrounded himself with when he started, they all grew and they have shares in the business. Yes, some fell off, of course, because relationships sometimes just don't work out. But the importance of having the right people in your business is everything. It actually can either make or break the business. One of the things in the book he mentions is about, when the offer started coming through to say, okay, sell us a share, sell us this. And one of the guys took him aside and said, what are you trying to achieve here? What is the goal? Yes, now we have different offers, there's different type of money coming in. And I think it really goes back to saying, what do you want to achieve? What do you want your legacy to be at the end of the day? Because you can accept money will always come. Lately, it's something similar that we've been experiencing. My PA, Pam, you have different emails. Can you do this for us? And I look at the company, I said, I do not want to be associated with this company. So I think it's very important to know yourself, to know the type of people you want to be around and the type of people you want to work with. So this book, I couldn't put it down. I could not put it down. I would wake up at 5 a.m., 4 a.m. just trying to get through quite a lot of pages for the day because I'm a mom. This book, I almost didn't bring it, right? Because the title of the book is very clickbaity. When I saw someone recommending it, I was like, I'm not so sure. But this book for me is shocking. And you see what I spoke about earlier, that books are not there to confirm everything that you know. Books are there sometimes to challenge you. There are some things that I definitely don't like in this book at all. He is very, you can almost say arrogant. But if you look past that, there are some really, really good lessons in here. So he basically talks about how to build a business and how to think about it when you're going into a business. Can you scale this business? If it's not scalable, what magnitude, what impact will you be making? So this book is really challenging quite a lot of things that I do know. And I think as someone who talks about personal finance, where you're always talking about, whatever money you make, you need to make sure that you're investing, saving, you need to make sure that you get out of debt. And for me, he said something that is so important. And I believe this. He says that those things should not be the plan, should form part of the plan, right? What do I mean by that? It means that what he talks about, especially if you're an entrepreneur, you are in the business of making money, right? Making an impact, making sure that you give good service, whatever you're providing is good, right? But he says you cannot just focus this, he calls it the slow lane, right? Where you are just saving, where you're just investing. He says that the whole point of business is to make money, make an impact. So how are you going to do that? Can you scale this business? And this is where, as an entrepreneur, you have to ask yourself tough questions. Because I have found, even with myself, when things have been good in the past, you tend to relax and you think, I'm in my comfort level. But you always have to go back to the drawing board and say, actually, what am I achieving here? What is the bigger picture? So for me, this book, it's making me ask myself tons of questions, tons. And I think that is why reading is so important, not just to confirm, because we're all biased to what we believe, to challenge yourself, to finally ask yourself the really, 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 really hard questions about your business, about who you are and what it is that you want to achieve overall. Of course, I had to bring this book, okay? As an entrepreneur, you must always take advantages whenever you can, right? To either promote your business or whatever it is that you're selling. So of course, I had to bring my book. I authored this book and it's everything about personal finance. And some of the reviews that I've gotten from this book really have been, it's the most relatable, most easy to read personal finance book. And for me, when I wrote this book, I had in mind that I don't want people to go through the book and I just sound smart, right? I sound smart, I put all these big words in here, and yet people cannot walk away knowing about personal finance. So I had to make it as simple and as relatable as possible with simple English. And so for me, it was writing something that was practical, something that was relatable, something that's actually going to help people to move from anxiety to action when it comes to their personal finances.